So
just topped off the warmer, and it's a fluid pan, so as the sugar concentrate gets higher, or the level gets higher, it just moves through the pan over to the release over here. So this is the highest concentrated sap, which has to be boiled down quite a bit before I go and finish it. I finished all the syrup in my garage.
when did you guys start boiling this year?
This year? Yesterday, March 10th, 2025. We built this shack 22, March 13th was the first boil. 2023, February 17th. So we're starting a little bit later this year.
And so now,
I want to stoke the fire a bit.
I don't think I ever looked inside there. I don't think this was ever open when I was here before.
Yep.
Any particular kind of wood you use?
Most of this is wood from my dad's property here. My brother buys also more wood for us that I don't know exactly where he gets it from.
Doesn't really matter though, right?
No, not. I mean,
Just as long as it's hard, because it's not impacting. It's not like it flavors the syrup in any way.
Right.
It's completely separate.
Right. Turning on the warmer, or at least letting some of the sap that we place into the warmer and let that drip into the pan, depends on basically the level of the sap that's finishing here in the boiler. So it's a fluid pan. The sap starts here, moves underneath to the middle section.
And there's some sort of opening?
Yeah, I don't know if you can get it. You might not be able to get it with the camera, but there's a little corner right up here, triangular notch in the middle
It's really
tray.
hot over here.
It is very hot. And so I basically just try to keep an eye on that notch, and if the water level gets really low on the notch, that's how I determine how much I want to allow the warmer to let some more sap in. And then on the more finished end, near the release, we keep it at about 2 inches or so we check the level and make sure that it stays around 2 inches.
And you said that you do all the finishing at your house.
Correct. Once we get to a certain consistency in the sap, I take it to my house and I finish it essentially on a turkey boiler.
Cool.
And I use propane, so we have more controlled flame, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, and
So
then
what's next?
and then Ruth cans it once it's done. So now I gotta go check the buckets up over the bridge. So it's running pretty good now. It's gonna be running even more tomorrow since the
With this warm weather, holy smokes.
The weather today, tomorrow is gonna be even warm. So it looks like you did 3 buckets here. I'll check that one last. I mean, if these are full, I'm just gonna have to bring the full buckets down. No. It's about 2 gallons.
So you'll just pour that out, but it really doesn't matter.
No, not really.
Well, now that was not something I expected to see, that ring of ice in there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a pain on the larger buckets that we have near the driveway because those are larger buckets, obviously, and so you can imagine the ice ring.
You get a big old
you get a big one that you have to kind of break into pieces in order to lift it up out of the barrels on the driveway.
And
Oh, we got more
that's
here.
almost full.
So I'm gonna just take this whole bucket. I'll bring this with me.
Gonna bring them both down then?
Yep, and then I'm gonna check to see how much is in the other one. Whoa. You okay? I'm gonna let you.
No, you go ahead.
You're good?
You go first, yeah.
Okay.
Wanted to get out of your way there.
Yeah.
This is so pretty.
If I get 5 gallons out of this stuff, you're gonna
So what is this process?
So every so often you kind of have to skim off the foam on the top, which has a lot of the grit and stuff that you don't want in the syrup. And supposedly helps it boil a little more efficiently when you clear off the surface area.
Ah, water can escape.
Yeah, exactly. The water can escape if you just skim off the foam off the top, which is just a lot of, you know, nasty.
The smell as you're doing this,
Yeah. Well, now
it becomes intense. Oh, because
your
more
surface area
evaporation
is
can
freed up
occur.
to smell the
That makes sense.
syrup. But you notice how once I'm getting the foam off, I know you can't see it because it's really hot over here. You don't want to have your equipment near it, but you see how it's evaporating so much
That's
more
because
intensely?
you've taken off that insulating layer of foam.
Exactly. So, sure there are more efficient ways of getting this all done for a bigger production, but we're only about 50 to 60 taps. So, you know, we produce 5 to 6 gallons of syrup a year, and it's just for friends and family. Just something to get outdoors and enjoy the Vermont tradition of making syrup. Freezing at night and above freezing during the day is what
That's
you want.
what you want to get the syrup to run optimally.
Yep. Really going off now.
The smell is just absolutely wonderful. Good golly. Okay. That's how we do it, I guess, here in Schitt's Creek. Hey Andy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, William?
Good. This is Andy Vinipal, and so how we looking?
Well, we're looking like my pants are about to catch on fire because I'm
Okay.
staying way too close to the sarge. But I just tasted it while no one was looking, and it's definitely getting pretty darn sweet. So we like that. And I don't know what kind of grade we'll have, but if it stays this color, I'm thinking a little closer to fancy than darker grade A. It's good. This is our second day of boiling. The weather finally cooperated, and we actually have freezing nights and warm days, so we're happy with that. And right now it's almost too warm.
That makes the sap run, right?
Yeah, once if it doesn't freeze at night, it probably won't run the next day if it does very little. I'm not a scientist to figure all that out, but it ran really well yesterday and today, so I hope it keeps it up for the whole week and into next week.
So how many gallons so far?
We did 55 gallons yesterday, and
I brought
we did 25 this morning, but then you just brought some.
I brought 46 gallons in my truck over. No, this is fun. It's relaxing, as long as things don't get crazy and it turns to syrup and there's not enough people and not enough sap to facilitate a good draw off. Then we all get kind of crazy. But right now, I don't know. We might have syrup by later this afternoon or tomorrow.
So that's pretty cool.
So our pipeline that goes across the brook only connects to, I believe it's 15 taps, but it's really hard on the hillside to gather it. It's right on the edge of the embankment. It makes it tough, so we just run it through pipeline down, and you can see it running in today. And
How many trees is this coming from here?
It's coming from probably about 13 trees and a total of 15 taps on this side, and I think we're probably almost the same amount from that side, from this other barrel we have over there.
So you can, depending on the size of the tree, you can do 2 or 3 taps if it's a large enough tree.
More than 3, even on a large tree, just because we tap them every year and we have to relocate our holes so the tree can grow without any damage physically to it. So.
The brook is just lovely here, isn't it?
So yeah, it's coming out there.
I've had been in other sugar houses before, but never had a babbling brook beside this one, so this is really nice. And you can see it's coming out crystal clear. That's what we want to see. But it takes about 40 gallons of this to make 1 gallon of syrup. So we gather from our barrels and go right into the preheating tank in the back here, or if we have another storage tank. But right now we're getting a little low on our preheat tank, so we can add some more in. This little tank holds about 10 gallons.
So have you taken any out yet? No, you haven't taken any
We haven't
out.
done a draw yet, no.
No.
A draw.
Yeah, so we usually,
And we'll add some of this.
it's kind of a taste and eyeball test, or it's a logistics equation of, you know, how much more raw sap we have versus how much is in the pan, and then we draw off when it seems necessary or